Gilead is moving lower after Goldman Sachs downgraded the stock to a sell. That's based on slowing growth, lack of pipeline expansion. It's our call of the day. Stephanie Link, you own it. What do you do?
Well, I own it, and I don't think anything that I read today was new in news. We've known the pipeline is very weak. We know HIV franchise has generic competition coming, but we also know that they have a new CEO, and they have $32 billion in firepower to make some sort of an acquisition, or many acquisitions, to fill that pipeline. And at 10 times forward estimates, I think a lot of the bad news is already discounted in. And if this new CEO does anything at all, I think the stock works higher.
Okay, so it's an event play for you.
Yes.
Without the event, what do you do? If they don't make a deal for a pipeline.
Yeah, but they will.
They bail?
They will. Absolutely.
Oh, so they're going to do a deal?
I think they will.
Okay.
Now, the question is, do they do a massive deal, or do they do several medium kind of sized deals?
Okay.
I don't care. They just need to do several things, and I think this new CEO has made it very clear on his first conference call that they will.
And when they do that, they're going to get more analyst support. I mean, you look at what happened with Bristol Myers once they announced Celgene. People are coming out all over the place, falling all over themselves to upgrade the stock. I think that's what happens here, Steph. I think you're exactly right. And worst case is, I mean, to use a term you used on Intel, it's dead money from a share price, but you pointed out it's got a 4% dividend yield. I don't know why an analyst goes to a sell call. You want to downgrade it to neutral or something, but sell means you're supposed to go out and sell this stock at 10 times earnings, net cash, 4% dividend yield. This is not where you want to make your stand as an analyst.
More expensive than Celgene. It's dramatically underperformed Celgene. I mean, it's embarrassing almost. Celgene's up 49%. Year to date, Gilead's up 4%.
Well, Bristol's buying Celgene.
Yeah. Tell me this 2 years ago.
That's why. Right.
But it's still Gilead more expensive than Celgene, even with a do-nothing track record.
I just don't know why you go to a sell stock when you look. Even if you don't believe the valuation matters, 10 times earnings, 4% dividend yield.
When do you go to a sell, Jim?
Not there. Scott, I don't. Would you? I mean, you're putting me on the spot, but I'm answering your question.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just saying.
The correct answer is 200 points ago.
Analysts are criticized all the time for not, just going there.
All right.
If they don't believe in it, why not go there?
I mean, I can't quite tell if you're on me or on the analyst. But let me just point this out.
When do you go to a sell? I don't mean you. I mean the analyst.
Here's the thing. You know what I love is when an analyst makes an against-the-grain call. So earlier, different subject, but NVIDIA, I said don't buy these stocks at 35 times, okay? I would have loved to seen an analyst on NVIDIA say that at 250, not at 145. That's the sort of call that I'm trying to see an analyst make. Now, this stock, which has been a dog, sorry, Steph, but I think you'll agree with me, right? Yeah, no. This stock's been a dog for a long time, and now you're piling on and saying now is the time to sell? I want somebody
It is maybe an against-the-grain call, though. Stephanie Link says she owns it because there's going to be an event. There's going to be M&A. This analyst saying, forget that. Just get out now.
And it goes, 10% lower by his target, right? I just don't get this call. This is not where you want to put a sell call on. I'm sorry.
Okay. We're focusing specifically on the call. I think it's important to focus on what's going on in the industry. You mentioned Bristol Myers. AbbVie.
Ahead of ASCO, by the way.
So let's think about how they have performed, okay?
Right.
The competition to the HIV franchise comes from AbbVie and Bristol Myers. But yet, if you look at both of those names,
no matter what,
they are trading awfully. And I think it's important to understand what's going on. Now you have the opioid. Am I supposed to be stopping at some point, or?
Well, I mean, usually when I sort of try and interject something, you just were like wound up, ready to. You were just going no matter what.
I'm sorry.
Like the lawnmower got away from the person who was pushing it.
I'm sorry. I honestly didn't.
ASCO is this weekend, right?
Yes.
Big event.
It should have been a big event. Yes.
What do you mean it should have been? It's this coming weekend.
It should have been a big event in the sense of all of these stocks right now are trading in a way that suggests something is fundamentally going on, which leads me to what I was trying to bring forth before.
Now, please continue.
You have the opioid settlement today in Oklahoma with Teva Pharmaceuticals. Last couple of weeks, we have kind of mentioned what's gone on with Teva, okay? Teva's trading at its lowest level since 2000. That $85 million settlement is way more than the street expected. Overall, you're talking about potentially $4 to $5 billion in overall settlements as it relates to the opioid crisis. So there is something fundamentally that's going on with all these drug companies that, yes, ASCO should be a tremendously big event, but I think, unfortunately, it's going to be superseded by the legislative headwind that's in front of the
But
industry.
why isn't it just like tobacco companies? What's the difference? Opioids are going to be litigated for the next 30 years, right? And yet it's better than tobacco in the sense that it has a protocol reason to exist for pain management. And yet now every name you own, J&J on down, you're going to have to start thinking about how much you pay out. And my attitude to these managers is you fight like hell. You go into this litigation for the next 5 generations.
Yep.
Do not pay anything to anybody, because these attorneys generals go where the money is. And if you're willing to give $88 million after 2 weeks of negotiating, it's ridiculous. They should have been fighting on that for the next 10 years. That's stupid. Listen, distribution of this is horrible. I get the whole social issue. But believe me, after you have surgery, you want this protocol. It doesn't mean you have to be addicted to it. You have to use it wisely. There's no other drug like it. So my attitude is it's not tobacco. It doesn't kill you if it's used properly. Fight like hell through the litigation. And I think maybe it's IBB. Maybe it's time to start thinking about picking it up. I own it. It sucks. It's painful to watch that thing. But maybe I should double down.
It's been painful, for sure. It's been painful. IBB done nothing. Yeah, well, I shouldn't say that. It's up 8% year to date. IBB.
Versus
bigger
13.
legislative
Well, no,
issue,
I got you.
Yeah.
The bigger legislative issue, not that opioids is small, but it's the price control legislation that keeps getting bandied about in Congress.
Well,
That's
single pay.
Yeah,
And
all
single
of
pay.
that is weighing on this sector.
These might not be
Yes.
tobacco-like
Last quick
settlements.
point.
These might be asbestos-like settlements. And there was a wave of bankruptcies in the early 2000s as that legislation and all the fines made their way through the market. So we don't know where this is going to end up. And I think the stocks are pricing that uncertainty in accordingly, which, again, makes for a good opportunity if you have a long-term view.